comebacks and overtime steal the show in Week 6 of the NFL. Manning marches the Colts to another comeback in another fifth quarter. Would the Panthers give in? While KC cashes in the fourth to push the pack to the limit. How about them Cowboys, both early and late? A mutter outside in New England. An angry Bucs D kept the Skins' offense on the run, while everything looked hard in the Big Easy. At Mile High, a matchup of the snakeless offense and the #1 defense. And would any fan show up in the desert? NFL Primetime next.
NFL Primetime is presented by Miller Lite. Primetime is Miller time. And now, here's your host, Chris Berman.
Well, 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 a happy Columbus Day weekend to everybody. I'm Chris Berman, along with Tom Jackson, Nina Pinta, Santa Maria. Hey, we still had 4 ships sailing undefeated. One, the bye, Minnesota. 2 undefeated teams going head-to-head, Tom. The other one on the road at tough Lambeau. Certainly just about all of them were going to fall, right?
Yeah, well, I know that when we get to weeks 5, we get this far and beyond, it starts to be pretty difficult to stay undefeated.
Well, if you're the last one undefeated, you almost always go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
We're going to get to that first, but in the NFC East, I just have one question to ask you. How about them Cowboys? Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles have had the upper hand on Dallas, and they've beaten them 6 in a row. 3 years ago, this is how they started the season, with an onside kick, recovering it in Big D. So, they try the same in this big game. However, Randall Williams not only is there, but he's gone. 3 seconds, the fastest touchdown to start the game ever. And you can tell, Tom, they were alerted and ready.
You could tell he was ready because he wasn't falling back from the line of scrimmage to block for the return. He was alert to taking the football.
And that's Bruce DeHaven, the special team coach, telling Coach Parcells, you know what, I think you may have alerted us to this. Meanwhile, tricky Cowboys, Avian Kason to Joey Galloway, big gain, sets up a Dallas Cowboy touchdown, third quarter, 17-7 they lead the Eagles. Donovan McNabb struggled much of the day. He is able to do this, and Deuce Staley does the rest. It goes for 52 yards, and Philly is now back in the game, down 17-14. A Cundiff field goal for Dallas, 20-14. Staley out of the backfield, fighting for first down. You see now midway through the fourth quarter, Corral General Bachhalter. Look at this guy. He turns, he spins, he makes the move at the 8, and he's in the end zone, and Philly, showing the moxie of a defending division champ, leads it 21-20. But on the ensuing kickoff, special teams, Dallas again. Zuriel Smith, the Z-Train, 54 yards, and they're in Philadelphia territory just like that. Now, just over a minute to go. The Cowboys have driven Billy Cundiff at 28-yard field goal. Good. Dallas leads 23-21. Last chance, Philly. McNabb, pressured by Roy Williams. Dexter Coakley forces a fumble. Cowboys win it. And how about this move? That's Quincy Carter giving Randall Williams, the young man that started the game with a touchdown, the game ball. The Dallas Cowboys have won 4 straight. They beat the Eagles 23-21. The Cowboys, we should remind people, have won only 5 games each of the last 3 seasons. They're now 4-1 for the first time since '95. I know we're running to conclusions, Coach, but why don't I let you talk first?
I'm just happy we're where we are, but like I told the players in there, I like horse racing. If they paid off at the half-mile pole, I'd say I'd be rich a long time ago. So we're not even close to the half mile, but that was a big win for us. It's our 2nd division win, and I'm happy about it. And we kind of hung in there. We had to slug it out. This was a slug-out game, We kind of slug it out with them, and that was good.
All right, Bill has told us the following, because you talked to him a lot. We talked to him, our compatriot last year. We're not that good. What did he say today? Don't eat the cheese.
Don't eat the cheese.
Don't eat the cheese. But we do know this fact. They're 4-1 for the first time since '95. And if I can remember, I know, Coach, I'm sorry. In '95, they won the Super Bowl. this is a little quicker and a little ahead of schedule, don't you think, Tom?
Well, I think an important game. He has gotten his team to buy into his philosophy, but we talked this morning about the fact that what Bill Parcells will focus on in a game like this is the fact that Philadelphia had beaten them 6 times in a row. He knew that they had done much of that damage in Dallas. I think that when he looked at the numbers, the 204 points versus the 64 for his squad, this was a big stepping stone for that football team. And then I think the genius, and you really had to be watching that highlight package we put together. When Coach DeHaven, the special teams coach, went over to Bill Parcells, you could see that it was a thank you for recognizing the fact they might start this game with an onside kick as they did 3 years ago. And that really is the genius of Bill Parcells.
And winning breeds a lot of things. You know, you can't wait to get
correct.
You can't wait to get to camp on Monday morning. You can't wait to do things. The Dallas Cowboys, all of a sudden, as we're going to show you, I know it's Columbus Day, coach, but they got a stranglehold in this division. Where did it come from? I know where it came from. When we return, Tim Couch trying to win a home game. He looked good on the road last week with the crowd cheer him in Cleveland. And Bears Saints. What did you really expect was going to happen in this game? It was humorous at times. We'll be back. The Oakland Raiders, the defending AFC champs, playing the Cleveland Browns. Tim Couch 2-7 his last night at home. The crowd has not really been on his side. William Green on the carry. It's a fumble. Anthony Dorsett picks it up, and Oakland in business. The Oakland Raiders know they get the Chiefs next week. Maybe they can get back in this thing, but how far have they fallen? Rich Gannon goes to Teo Johnson for the touchdown. Teo. Raiders lead it 7-0. It's a 10-yard pass.
Rich Gannon great at this. You see him spot shadow, getting away from the initial rush, could run it in, look at the open area to his right, decides to throw it, and that's a perfect pass out in front of Johnson.
Big play of the game, Brown special teams. Down 7-3, it's a field. No, Chris Gardocki, the holder, pitches to the kicker, Phil Dawson. Dawson creaks his way for a first down, and Butch Davis says, way to go. Next play, buoyed by that, William Green, touchdown, 10-7. With the score 13-7, the Raiders, really, in many ways, maybe their season on the line. We'll come back and look at it. On 3rd and 15, Gannon to Charlie Gunner for 14. 4th and 1, they're going to throw it, Tom. Then they do get it to Garner, first down. Now, tick, under a minute to go. Gannon, Tim Brown. Ooh, he had a step but too far. Same drive, 4th and 1. And he looks to Jerry Rice, and he's made this catch a million times. They look at it again, and what is it? The knee with the foot up,
well,
right?
One knee equals 2 feet. We've heard it a lot of times. Looked like Jerry got his knee down.
Cleveland wins 13-7. William Green, 145 yards. This is an amazing stat. I know Cleveland missed a few years in franchise history, but 2 straight 100-yard games for William Green. The first back-to-back 100-yard games by a Cleveland back since Kevin Mack, 1986. Now, Tommy.
I see it.
19 penalties, 5 on consecutive plays. The last time they covered, along with the Swami, was in the playoffs. What is going on there?
And then look at the other number, the 28 rushes for 51 yards from Charlie Garner.
Yeah. Bears Saints. This could be fun. Olin Kreutz, snap over Cordell Stewart. He gets back on it. Bears lose 22 yards on the play. I think we're punting. Second quarter, Saints ball. Aaron Brooks showed a little bighorn. And it's a drop. He just shows a good receiver, but he just dropped. 6-3 Saints third quarter. Cordell drops back, hit by Fred Thomas. Fumble! Melvin Williams picks up the second fumble of the day by Cordell. Ensuing drive, Brooks all day. Ernie Conwell touchdown. Brooks 2 touchdown passes, not great, but they win. Deuce McAllister 116. Saints beat the Bears 20-13. A-Train had a pretty good game, but the game was pretty nondescript.
Yeah, and Cordell Stewart just flat out struggling this entire year.
Struggling, and the Saints, Bears are still stuck on that one win that they got last week. Saints in the win column for the second time when we return. Even the quarterback blocks for Ricky Ways because he knows the result's probably going to be good for Miami. And speaking of quarterback, is there anybody playing better than Steve McNair? I would suggest no. I'm going to show you the Houston of old against the Houston of new when we return.
GMC Sierra Extended Cab with more standard V8 horsepower than the new Ford F-150. Try as they might, they still can't catch us. Professional-grade engineering. It's not more than you need, just more than you're used to.
Sunday Night Football, the Sharpie revisited, Dennis Erickson revisiting the Pacific Northwest. But in the end, a battle maybe for first place ultimately in that division, as San Francisco was at the first place 3-1 Seattle Seahawks. For highlights, Stuart Scott.
Dennis Erickson making his return to Seattle, where he used to coach. Last time Terrell Owens was here, he brought a Sharpie with him. This time he only brought 36 yards receiving, his lowest output this year. First quarter, no score. Seahawks driving. Matt Hasselbeck with the radar lock to Itula Mealy. Itula has 9 letters in his name, 5 vowels, and he had that 1 catch. Third quarter, 17-10 Seahawks. Jeff Garcia got all swole, kept it himself. Niners had 111 yards rushing. He got popped, didn't matter, 17-16 Seahawks. But on the PAT, Owen Hotchman misses it. After a 49er field goal, 19-17 49ers. Josh Brown, 37-yard field goal, 20-19 Seahawks. Last chance for the 49ers. Garrison Hurst fumbles. Seahawks recover. They win it 20-19. It's about to be on. Doug Johnson and the Falcons, Mark Bolger and the Rams. Monday Night Football, 9 p.m. Eastern, ABC Monday night. Now let's go back to the fellas at Primetime.
Giants, Patriots, kind of the undercard of Yankees, Red Sox. And so, on a dank, rainy, kind of misty, foggy day, this is the way it would go. Kerry Collins pass tipped, intercepted by Tyrone Poole, always plays well in the rain. Giants' next possession, Tiki Barber. He's a fine back, but he does this. It's a fumble, and Matt Chatham picks it up and scores. Touchdown, P-Man over the G-Men, 7-0. Now, 3rd and goal, Collins to Barber. Slips trying to cut back for the ball. He was open, but
Great job of getting to the back of the end zone. Ball delivered perfectly, just couldn't stand up, and that's what you risk on a wet field.
So Conway kicks a field goal at 7-3, and now Collins' pass deflected. Intercepted by Rodney Harrison. Boy, Richard Seymour had a huge day tipping these passes up front. Then 10-3 Pat's third. Tom Brady. David Patton makes some tough catches, Tom.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And that sets up a Mike, hey, get off of Mike Cloud touchdown. And that makes it a 17-3, and now 17-6. And it's Rodney Harrison again. 4 interceptions, 5 turnovers in all that the Giants made. The Patriots didn't turn the ball over at all. Richard Seymour, 2 tips to the line of scrimmage results in interception. He tipped a field goal. He had a sack. He was a monster. Patriots held on to the ball, Tom.
Yeah, Patriots, we talked this morning about turnovers for the New York Giants. Today they lost the turnover battle 5-0. Hard to win a football game when you do that.
How about the yardage total at the end of the first half? 199-29.
But
for the Giants.
For the Giants, but
Score?
Patriots are winning 7-3.
No.
Amazing.
Turnovers,
Amazing.
turnovers. Now here we go. The Miami Dolphins and the Kerry Collins. I'm sorry.
That's right.
You know what? I know it was wet. I know it was sloppy, but Tommy, you're just not going to win like this.
Well, and I think that what used to be a strength for this football team is now something they have to worry about, and that's the offensive line combined with the way that Kerry Collins plays when he plays well. We take a look here. Kerry Collins dropping back. Going to take a little hop, actually, before he delivers this football. And this pass, and we had quite a few today, deflected. And you have to realize Kerry Collins is 6'5", just needs the room cleared so he can throw the football. Then he drops back, looks to Ike Hilliard right here, being defended here by Roman Pfeiffer. Has to pull the ball down. This offensive line, 2 rookies on it, a second-year guy, that's Shockey in the tight end slot position, if you will, right there. 4 guys standing right in front of him. Kerry Collins looks, the pressure comes to him, going to make this throw. Seymour coming from his facial side, delivers the ball off of his back foot into triple coverage. So I think that what we've seen from Kerry Collins, and this is really his history, is that when you give him the protection, when you give him the benefit of a running game, he can be one of the best in the league. I think top 5. When he does not get that protection, he starts to throw off that big back foot, you can count on the Giants having problems offensively. But today, pure and simple, turnovers.
And the Giants seem to play best when they're pressed, and they're pressed now.
That's right. They're pressed now. They're under pressure.
Under pressure a little bit for the Giants, and they already know that Dallas is winning at the top of that division. When we return.
Same issues that cost the Giants last week against the Miami Dolphins, the same issues that were heavily addressed in preparation for New England this week, are the very same issues that took precedence today at Gillette Stadium. Turnovers and kicking game problems culminating in these same results as last week. And why wait to get into the nastiness? First play from scrimmage is a Kerry Collins deflected pass for, yes, an interception. Boy, the G-men survived that one, but couldn't get over Tiki Barber's 4th fumble this year, 3rd loss as Pat Chatham scores. 7-0 Patriots. Through the slop, the Blue Crew gets a drive going as Jeremy Shockey's 23-yard catch sets up the Brett Conway field goal, 7-3 Patriots. But it wasn't pretty, it was pretty much downhill from there as the hitman, Rodney Harrison, becomes the receiver off yet another deflected pass, deflected by the defense. Unfortunate. Michael Strahan, however, and the Giants D trying to keep things close for the offense, recording one of his 2 sacks on the day, looking good. But on that same drive, Tom Brady connecting with David Patton for 39, setting up another Patriots touchdown. 17-3, New England. And I tell you what, Collins scoring aces on the deflected passes area. Again, Rodney Harrison coming up with it. Back-to-back 4 interception games for Collins. Chatham, well, who scored the Patriots' first touchdown, also putting Collins in the ground, who was sacked twice today as the Blue Crew couldn't get anything done. They end up taking the 17-6 loss.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
Welcome back to Primetime. Jay Fiedler, Miami Dolphins trying to win their 4th straight. They're at Jacksonville. Last time they saw them, a lot of these guys weren't here. It was 62-7 Jags in the 99 playoffs. Jimmy Johnson's last game. Now watch Jay Fiedler on Ricky Williams coming around for the first throw, the block. And we've seen him do this many times. Jay Fiedler from
Dartmouth.
And watch this, huh?
Yeah, watch Fiedler, and this is the thing I love about Fiedler. He's not just trying to get in a guy's way. This block is on Tony Brackens, one of the best defensive players in the league, and he clears the way for Ricky Williams to get a touchdown. Outstanding play by Jay.
Just 19 carries, 75 yards today. Byron Leftwich starting for Jacksonville. Quite in the news this week as they kept chopping wood. The punter hurt in an axe incident in the locker room. But meanwhile, Leftwich tucks it in and ties the game at 10. Here's the play of the game. Fiedler to Obafemi. Ayambadejo. He fumbles, but Randy McMichael picks it up. It's like they diagrammed this play. Jack Del Rio, you might as well challenge it because it's a Miami touchdown. And here it is. Ayambadejo's knee not down when he fumbled. They look and the play stands, huh?
Let's just call him Ayo for short. You can see that the knee was not down. That's a very good play by McMichael.
And that's what happens when things are going bad. Jacksonville, they force a play, but they don't take it off. And then it goes for worse. Leftwich picked off by Sam Addison from
Louisville.
29 yards, and the Dolphins have won 4 in a row. New England comes in next week, and Miami wins it 24-10. And for the Jacksonville Jaguars, after this week with Hanson, the punter, hurt, they have a bye week. They have had from training camp on just a curious, and I'm being polite, start in the Del Rio era.
And you see the lack of 20 carries by Ricky Williams, but the Miami defense coming to the forefront with the 5 forced fumbles, the 4 sacks, the 3 INTs. This, I think, is what Coach Wannstedt expects from this defense on a week-to-week basis.
Last time we saw the Houston Texans, Don Capers was gambling on the last play of the game. They won, they beat Jacksonville, adding to that Jacksonville ledger. Then off the bye week, Capers and the Texans in Tennessee to play Eddie George, who, you know, his average yards per carry been down, but there's 17 yards there. And then Steve McNair. First of all, look at the time. Second of all, look at the throw. Third of all, look at the catch. Fourth of all, look at the touchdown. 7-0 Titans.
Yeah, let's take a look at Steve McNair, and I think you're going to see all the things that he brings to the table. Here he's going to look the safety off. You see the safety down the middle of the football field. That's what we call a quick turn. He's not going to open up front side. Then McNair comes back where he knows he's got the single coverage. You're going to see a linebacker trailing the play, but the corner is absolutely beat, and that's a great throw by McNair.
And so now, a little play action McNair. Watch him air it out to Mason, who beats Marcus.
Coleman!
Touchdown, 14-0 Titans. That's a 46-yarder, Tom.
And watch McNair show why he's such a tough quarterback. He's going to see the blitz coming, make the quick read here, and get rid of it right behind the blitz. Now, he throws off his back foot. He's got great arm strength and able to get the ball there. And then here again, the blitz coming free, throwing off of his back foot. A perfect throw to the wide receiver. Almost gets him a first down.
With the score 24-10 late third quarter, McNair is going to throw out of his own end zone. Nothing good can happen here, right? Wrong! Oh, man, on the dead run is Justin McCairns. That's 46 yards. Same drive. Fourth quarter, McNair, Mason across the middle. He's gone. 50-yard touchdown pass. So McNair to Mason 3 times. Steve McNair over 1,600 yards for the season. Tommy, 18 completions for 421 yards. That's 25 a completion.
Yeah, boom, that last pass off the blitz as well. And we talk about this when we're watching Steve McNair. Almost every play he makes is a tremendously big play. 18 completions, 421 yards.
It's their only home game in Nashville this month. So a big win by the Titans, who go to Carolina next week in one of the intriguing games for sure. When we return, speaking of Carolina, battle of the undefeated, Stephen Davis and the Panthers trying to make believers week after week after week. Could they make the Colts believers? And undefeated Dante Hall and the Chiefs. Packers tried to kick it away, tried to do everything to keep him out of the game. Could they do it? He's a one-man wrecking crew. That's Dante Hall. 2 kick returns for touchdowns in the first 5 games for the Chiefs. Of the punt returns and 2 touchdowns, he's returned 12 punts this year for 259 yards. Now, the reason we put this up is going into this game, the Packers' punt cover team had been the best. They'd only allowed 7 returns. The rest were coffin corners or fair catches or what have you for only 11 yards. So something had to give. And now, would it give in the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs? They're 5-0, but many people, okay, you're always trying to look for a chink in the armor. They're 5-0, but they've been bailed out by probably the first quarter of the season's MVP, Dante Hall. His kick return changed the Baltimore game. It won the Denver game, and on and on and on we go. Now they're at Lambeau Field. The Packers are tough. They're coming off their best win of the year. Here's our prime cut tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs, undefeated, going to Lambeau Field. Dante Hall. What would they do? Well, the first couple of kickoffs are out of bounds. Then they have 1 touchback. Now watch the punter, Josh Bidwell, makes the tackle. Otherwise, he's gone, Tom.
That's a great play.
But the Packers, they were doing that. And they also were rolling because the last few minutes of the first half, it's usually Brett Favre's. The little screen pass to Amon Green. It's a touchdown. And just before the 2-minute warning, the Pack leads 21-14. Now third quarter. Najee Davenport blasts through. Oh, he's into the end zone. Touchdown, 18 yards, and the Pack are really in business. 31-14, the Packers lead at 17, and Hall fields a punt. Again, I want you to watch the Packers go flying. Wash Bidwell, the punter, submarine the blockers to slow up Hall. Great return, Hall, but again, Bidwell involved. But this time, it sets up Priest Holmes. Comeback on for Meals Chiefs, down 31-21. Next drive, 9 minutes left. Ball tipped into the hands of Jerome Woods, out of the hands of Driver, and Woods runs 79 yards, touchdown. Game is really on. 31-28, the Packers lead down to 3. 7.5 to go. Next Chiefs drive from their own 20. Tony Green, with all the Chiefs' mastery this year on offense, I'd say quieter than usual for Tony Gonzalez till now.
That's right, the forgotten man, but a big go-to guy. Talked to Dick Vermeil. He said this guy's going to be a playmaker for us the rest of the year.
You know that. It sets up a tying field goal, 31-all. Now, that's a heck of a job on the kickoff. Hall had to pick it up because it would have ended up with perhaps the Packers again on it. The Chiefs complaining. That's Frank Gantz Jr., but it was a good call by the officials. Now, with the score, 34-31. The Pack. Green to Holmes, out of bounds, 13 seconds to go. Morton Anderson, he's going to kick till he's 80. Good. 31-yard field goal. We're tied at 34. And Mike Sherman, now here's what happens. Coin toss, oh God, we got to kick it to Dante Hall, or we're going to give it to Brett Favre. Both teams shaking. What happens? Well, Chiefs win the toss. But instead, Tom, of throwing, what do?
Well, this is the game plan. Holmes, off the right side, going to break one tackle, going to go for 7 yards. Next play, Holmes up the middle for 5 yards. Next play, Holmes off the right side again for 5 more yards. They started this overtime. Holmes ran 9 straight times to start the overtime in this drive.
So now they're up to the 30, Tom. Trent Green. Oh, Darren Sharper almost took it for 6 the other way. And instead, Morton Anderson, 48-yard field goal, blocked. It's blocked. The Packers special teams now come through again. Cledius Hunt gets his big paw on it, and now the Packers in business. Here's Brett Favre. First play. Hand off to Amon Green, who had a 100-yard day, but it's a fumble! Mike Vaslowski has it for the Chiefs. So now they're going to go to Holmes and grind it out and get another field goal. At the 49-yard... Wait a minute. This isn't a run. It's a pass to Eddie Kennison. Touchdown, going for the jugular. The Kansas City Chiefs, with the Pack back on their heels, they win it in overtime, 40-34. They're 6-0 for the first time in franchise history. It's been around since the AFL began in 1960. An amazing game as Trent Green led them back from 17 down, throwing for 400 yards. How do you think Dick Vermeil was at the end of this one?
I'm very proud of his football team, because it would have been very easy up here in this atmosphere to sort of sink to the point where you didn't think you had a chance to win it.
It's my job as a receiver, you know, to beat guys one-on-one. And ran by the guy, Trent put a perfect ball in the air, and it's my job to go catch it.
Look, I think most impressive with the Chiefs was in 31-14 at Green Bay, who was playing well.
That's correct.
It was a knockout punch. It's Lambeau Field. Okay, we can't win every game, but here they were, undaunted.
Well, I think this could be a catalyst for this football team.
Yeah.
It's not just the win that they get at Lambeau. I think that this is the kind of win we talked about. Indianapolis playing the Bucs on Monday night. I think the same thing, and I know Indy lost today, but I think that you've got a chance now for this to carry you if you're the Chiefs for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, they got a lot of parts. I want to give you a number, and then I want you to look at a part that people aren't talking about, Tommy. See, Dick Vermeil was 6-0 with the 81 Philadelphia Eagles, all right? They lost in the wild card round. 99, he was 6-0 with the St. Louis Rams that won the Super Bowl. 03, he's 6-0 with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's done this before.
He's got a plan.
One is an accident,
He's got a plan.
Now, the Chiefs, we know a lot of, look, they score all these points, but what are we missing? What's the public missing with the Chiefs and how they do this?
When you've got this kind of balance, run and pass, and you see how effective they are, you're talking about an outstanding offensive line. This may be the best offensive line in football, certainly amongst the top 2 or 3. We're going to take a look at 2 plays, both man blocking in space, and when you watch the pocket, these guys are man-on-man on their guys. Trent Green takes a 7-step drop, has time to step up, make this throw to Gonzalez, steps up 4 steps. Here, the final play in OT. This is the one that wins it. Play action pass. Look at the room that he has. Look at the lane that he has to step up, make a nice, easy throw to Kennison. If this offensive line can stay healthy, I think that this is going to be, and the rest of their skilled people as well, it's going to be a very, very difficult team down the stretch.
Well, they're difficult already because, again, you know they have that feeling and they got all these parts and defense. Do we think they've improved?
I think the defense has improved.
Give them a lot of points today.
Defense improved, special teams outstanding, offense outstanding. Those 3 things can carry you there.
How's that kicker? You think he's okay?
Yeah, I think he's all right.
He's big field goal on the line?
Yeah,
I think it'd be pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Kansas City Chiefs remain undefeated at 6-0, playing the Raiders next week. We're just churning in week 6 of primetime.
Welcome back to NFL Primetime, presented by Miller Lite.
And now, the battle of the undefeateds. Peyton Manning still fresh somehow off that amazing Monday night comeback in Tampa Bay against the undefeated Carolina Panthers. Panthers at Colts. Stephen Davis gained it 2. And early on, look, you know what the Panthers' game plan is, and the Colts were ready for him. Davis had only 10 yards in the first half, Tom.
Yeah, stacked the line of scrimmage, 10 yards in the first half, as you said, but then the Colts would go to what they do best.
Well, the Colts trying to get a lead, figuring if Carolina falls behind by a couple of touchdowns, the game is over. That's Manning to Harrison, 35 yards. And what happened here?
Well, you look at the room that Terry Cousins gives Marvin Harrison, gives him enough room to get the first down, and then you're not quick enough after he catches the ball to bring him down immediately.
And then Manning, Harrison, 33 yards. Manning takes the hit from Mike after dinner, Minter. But he holds on and puts the Colts in business.
Yeah, nice shake to the outside, no bump at the line of scrimmage, safety helpless, and a great job of holding on to the football. That's a pretty hard hit he took.
Setting up a 1-yard blast by James Mungro Jerry. Colts lead 13-3 in the third quarter, but off the hands of Harrison into Ricky Manning's hands. So Manning picked off by Manning. If only Peyton had made the tackle, Manning. Next play, Stephen Davis. He is a man. Look at this run. Colts just lying all over the field in his wake. 28 yards. Forget about them being down, Tom. They're in the game now 13-10. Later in the third, Jake DeLoe to the special teams maven Steve Smith. Touchdown! 17-13 Panthers. And while they lead, Davis goes to the locker room with a bruised arm. It's 20-13, 2.5 to go. Geez, do you think the Colts can come back from 7 down late in the game, Tom? Manning to Marcus Pollard, first down. Buck 17 to go, it's Harrison. Look at the moves out of the 25-yard line. And then out of the Batcave to stately Wayne Manor. Reggie Wayne, touchdown. We're tied at 20-all. We're going to overtime. Something they haven't done for 6 days. Davis out of the locker room, bruised arm earlier, but Deshaun Foster, as Carolina wins the toss in overtime. They go to the ground game next back.
Yeah, Deshaun Foster did the exact same thing that Stephen Davis does. He doesn't find anything inside. He breaks 3 tackles right there, gets about 16 yards, and puts them in field goal range.
And then John Casey at the foot. 47 yards. Good. It's good. And the Carolina Panthers, they're winning in the summer. They're winning in the fall. My God, they might win all winter. They win at the Colts 23-20. Obviously a young franchise. They've never been 5-0 before. They're, 9-1 dating back to early December last year. And what a win for this. Do we keep wondering, they can't score. See, now they've got some weapons that it's not just Stephen Davis in this ground game and the special teams in the front four.
And I think Coach John Fox really getting some confidence now in Jake Delhomme and allowing him to throw the football downfield. And you look at the run numbers, obviously you get Stephen Davis out of the lineup because of the arm injury, but between he and Deshaun Foster, 31 carries. So that's likely what Stephen Davis would have had on his own. The defensive front four is outstanding. I think the back seven not quite as good, but they're getting better all the time. It's a game plan that I think can carry them, as far as they want to go, as long as they stay healthy, don't commit to turnovers. Jake's going to get more confidence. This is a good football team.
They ran for 189 yards.
There you
Even
are.
he hated
There you are.
Rod
There
Smart was running for a while. So the Carolina Panthers, they're undefeated, and the Indianapolis Colts aren't anymore. So the Chiefs still are, the Carolina Panthers are, and the idle Minnesota Vikings are. All right, now, back to the action we go. Late games. Bills at Jets. Bills look good first 2 games of the year. The Jets haven't looked good at all, but they come off a bye. Vinny Testaverde, and the Jets figuring, look, we've been down before. Let's see if we can get coming back. Testaverde, Anthony Beck, 2-yard score. And Vinny Testaverde has passed Joe Montana, not Joe Montana, Joe Montana for 7th in all-time passing yard. For Drew Bledsoe, what's going on with this offense, Tom? They're absent.
Well, you look there. There's a snap over Drew Bledsoe's head. That ball going to be recovered by the Jets. Dwayne Robertson going to be up the middle. There's another sack on a 4-man rush, and then Sam Cowart finally. Again, you get the picture here, Boom. A long, long day for Drew Bledsoe.
I know Mold's not playing, and Henry back there. They haven't run the ball. Santana Moss. Well, remember they lost Morton, but Santana Moss is the guy they feel they can give him that spark. Part of the reason they let him go, and he does get the spark. Moss is going to return this 47 yards all the way to the Buffalo 18. Do I have to say it, Tom? Bills special teams. Next play for the Jets, Testaverde to Beck. That's a pretty combo, and the Jets Jets first couple of minutes of the third quarter lead 20-3. More Vinny, and this is Moss. The little pitch out. Vinny and the Jets shake, rattle, and roll. The shock Buffalo Bills. Herm Edwards' team winning for the first time this year, and the Bills have fallen to 3-3. That opening day win seems like a long time ago, doesn't it, Tom?
And give the New York Jets a lot of credit for showing some resiliency. Boy, you know, you're 0-4, things are going bad. To come out and play with this kind of enthusiasm, I think a tribute to Herm Edwards and his ability to motivate.
7 sacks.
That's right.
That'll help us when you get the lead.
And did it without Abraham in the lineup.
Yes, they did. They did it with a lot of people, without a lot of people in the seats. My God, Tom, you can still get to that game, Tom. I know it's over. Ravens, Cardinals at Sun Devil Stadium. Emmett not playing, people not going, but Arizona scoring. Jeff Blake to Brian Gilmore, surprise. 74-yard opening drive, 7-0 Arizona. But Jamal Lewis, this is what he does. And your cousin, Dexter Jackson, wow.
He went for a ride.
Well, how are you going to pull him down? 53-yard sets up a field goal. At this point, it's 9-7 the Ravens. Ed Reed, the fine safety of Baltimore, blocks the punt. And you break through, you block it, and you scored the hat trick, right?
Yeah, and already in his young career, we have seen him do this a couple of times. He's lined up on the outside, gives a good overarm move to get inside, little overarm swim, does a great job of laying out, then has presence of mind to go and recover the football as well.
So it's a 16-10 game, and then Marcel Schiff from University of Massachusetts Minutemen, 14-yard run. I didn't prep you for that, Tom.
No, and I wouldn't have
His
known.
college coach is Mark Whipple, my friend. Schiff runs for 15 yards. Then Blake to James Hodgins, 10 yards. Then Blake to the rookie sensation Anquan Bolden, 12 yards. And then, look at this. Both Arizona fans standing in no, they're not anymore. Chris McAllister helped Arizona jump off the Tallahatchie Bridge. God! Now he's taunting on the play, which is no need. But it's an 83-yard touchdown, so there's a flag, but McAllister makes a nice play.
Yeah, you just follow Jeff Blake's eyes right here, and you can see stared the receiver down as a short drop, and McAllister was ready to jump the route from the time it started.
So the first place, that's right, the first place Baltimore Ravens at 3-2. Hey, they're winning the games they should, 26-18. Arizona falls to 1-5, 131 yards rushing for Jamal Lewis in this game. 4th straight 100-yard game. Another franchise not around very long, but obviously it's the first time that's happened in the Baltimore history. LeVar Arrington, Redskins linebacker, all at Twitter and Warren Sapp's antics, and this time he doesn't run through the skins, but inadvertently bumping side judge Greg Meyer before the game.
Really?
So Arrington, and so now he checks in on offense, and Arrington is ready. Now watch this. Here he is. And it's Michael Pittman on the carry. Sapp with the lead block, and here it is, Tom.
Yeah, just watch LeVar Arrington. This is the things that he can do because he's so physically talented. Right over the top and go get the ball. Ignore the blockers.
He played a good game. Next play for the one Brad Johnson play action rollout. And he finds Todd Yoder from
Vanderbilt.
Touchdown. Yoder, the force was with Yoder as Dilger was hurt and Yoder was in the end zone. He had 7 catches in his career coming in. He was going to catch a pair of TDs. Now, we said on the show this morning, they do not protect Patrick Ramsey. We also know that Tampa Bay can rush. Simeon Rice with the impact hits Ramsey. It's a fumble. He also recovers it, Tom.
Yeah, we're going to take another look at the play, and you're going to see why Simeon Rice was able to get to it. That's Warren Sapp. They're going to be triple teamed on the inside. You're going to see Simeon Rice freed up on the outside. He's got the outside move as well as the inside move. He's able to do whatever he wants here. Great job of using his feet. Was supposed to be double teamed right there. Took it up the field and came inside as quick as any defensive end can. Great play by Simeon Rice.
And so now, Keenan McCardell drilled by Arrington. You don't believe me? Just take a listen yourself. You know, at this stage, the Skins are up 13-7 in the third quarter. You're wondering, boy, the Bucs off of that Monday night disaster, now what? But it's that famed Johnson to Yoder touchdown. And look at that, 14-13, the Bucs. Yoder with a pair of TDs. And now another tight end, Will Heller from Georgia Tech. 4-yard touchdown. That Johnson to the tight end passing game, working big time, 21-13. Pump fake. Why don't we air it out to Keyshawn? Keyshawn's Johnson, 39 yards, and now the Bucs pulling away. They win it 35-13 after the game. Sapp, Arrington talk a little. 35-13. The Bucs win this thing. What you didn't see was, here they go now, Derek Brooks. with the touchdown interception for the Buccaneers.
And I don't think people realize how well Brad Johnson plays when this team is winning, but you look at those numbers, 22 of 30, 268, 4 TDs, very careful with the football. They couldn't have a better manager for their ball club.
Well, so they gave up 21 points in the last 4 minutes on Monday night. They score 28 points in the second half again, and they had 7 sacks against the team.
They're the defending world champs for a reason.
City, the Denver Broncos, 1-point losers to the Chiefs, their first loss of the year. And that's Tommy Maddox, present and past. Drafted 11 years ago to one day replace John Elway. Well, he didn't do that. He's the Steeler quarterback. Jake Plummer sitting with a bad shoulder. Steve Berline playing, looking for McCaffrey, but Chad Scott picks it off. Berline struggling early, much lower scoring game than you might expect from these two teams, Tom. 3-0 early, second quarter. Berline to Shannon Sharp. It's now 7-3 Denver.
Yeah, we're going to take a look here at Pittsburgh's offense. That's their offensive coordinator, Mike Mularkey. He's trying to solve the Denver defense. Tommy Maddox here can't find anyone. Starts to run through the pocket. Bertrand Berry with the sack. Then Trevor Price on the end, coming around the corner. Blows by Oliver Ross for that sack. Then Maddox in the shotgun, so they tried a variety of things. Here, forced out of the pocket, and he's down again. 7
sacks for the Broncos against Tommy Maddox, but it's a 7-6 Denver lead in the fourth quarter. Berline to Rod Smith, and he makes the catch at 38 yards. Now watch this. And he keeps the ball up there, Tom.
Clearly lets the official know I have control.
He's done this before. 14-6 Denver. Now on 4th and 6 with 5 minutes to go, Maddox to Hines Ward. Down to the 14-yard line, sets up. Jerome Bennett in the end zone, 14-12. So you got to go for 2. Mike Shanahan knows it. Bill Cowher knows it. Oh, you saw that was the Bettis in, and they make the 2. And this is Brent Alexander. Should have picked it, but they would have had a shot at the game. Meanwhile, Berline, Shannon, what, does everybody make catches with one hand on this
beautiful.
team? Shannon makes the one-handed catch. Jason Elam, 48 yards. Cowher can only watch. You know he's got the leg. Good. Good. And the Broncos win it by the count of 17-14, upping their mark to 5-1. They have an intriguing game at undefeated Minnesota next week for the Pittsburgh Steelers on a rare losing binge. This is a team that all of a sudden plays a low-scoring game, and they can't win that one either. Puzzling times for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Coach Cowher.
Boomer, my game ball goes to Derek Mason. Compliments of Steve McNair every time he got open deep. McNair delivered the football, 6 receptions, 177 yards, almost 30 per catch, and 3 touchdowns. You won't see a better day from a receiver.
I'm giving it to Trent Green, but really could give it to a boatload of the Chiefs. 400 yards, down 17 at Lambeau Field. Your team is undefeated. You're making more believers every week and going for the jugular after the Green fumble. There's a touchdown. So we got Kansas City at 6-0. We get Minnesota at 5-0. We get Carolina at 5-0. In 5 of the last 6 years, 8 of the last 13 years, the last team undefeated has at least made the Super Bowl. So those teams in those cities should feel pretty good right now.
Well, because that team we know has that possibility of getting home field, which we still feel, I think, is the easiest route to the Super Bowl.
All right, now, Tommy, only 3 teams of the 12 in the playoffs last year have winning records at this moment. None of the 8 first-place teams last year are in first place right now. So what do we know?
Well, I thought I'd never like it. I love it. We don't know very much. We're going to have a heck of a stretch run. We didn't even get to the halfway pole, as Bill Parcells told us earlier. Going to be a great season.
Well, we're going to discover who the Super Bowl champ is at the end of the season. Columbus discovered America. Have a nice holiday for Tom Jackson. I'm Chris Berman. See you later.